in my lap as always.
Hey, it's 9:05, everybody. Wednesday night. Maybe I should have started a little bit early in case you decided to jump into, what do I want to say? Will's show tonight. Ride of Your Life has premiered as of 5 minutes ago on Motor Trend TV. Of course, that should have Will Posey in it. I'm not going to be able to watch the show until after this. I did think about broadcasting and speaking and talking a little bit about the show and giving my narrative to it. But then I probably would sit here and it would go, so you get a lot of quiet as I sit there and analyze things because that's how I work. I analyze things. You never get an immediate reaction out of me with anything, whether it's trying food, whether or not I like this color, whether or not I should be wearing Crocs, things like that. I always have to think about it. Obviously, if you're listening to us right now, there's no us. Derek's off tonight. He's headed off to Old Car Festival. He does that every year. So you're going to get me tonight. That's kind of why I picked the topic we've got tonight. And actually, the title is, Time Waits for No One or None. It's can't wait for Derek. Can't wait for anybody. We're going to do the show. So hopefully we get some listeners out there. Hopefully I don't bore you to death. Sometimes I know I get a little bit long-winded, but, it's kind of like listening to one of the shows where I start talking and talking and talking and talking. You go, will you please shut up so I can hear Derek, so I can hear Will? Well, that's... You're not going to get the relief of them tonight. Maybe we'll just, hit a button every now and then and make some noise. So we could ask Derek what his bitch of the week is, but he's not going to answer. We could ask the studio audience, do you have a bitch?
No, I actually don't have a bitch. Actually, I do.
Well, here, speak into the mic, and what's your bitch?
Well, not really, because it's really the ducks. My bitch is the ducks.
Your bitch is the what?
The ducks.
Oh. Yeah, this wonderful new location of the studio. It's like being in Jersey. And there's this gang of ducks. It's great living on a lake and overlooking it and got the balconies and all that kind of stuff. But it really felt bad. I got home from a huge road trip Monday night, and I'm driving into the parking lot. I'm coming up to the building. I'm like 3 buildings away, and the 3 ducks are out, and it's like 7:00 at night. And they're walking down the middle of the driveway or road, whatever you want to call it.
It's a complete duck game.
So I want to scoot off to the left, and they start moving to the left. So I turn the wheel to the right, and the car is barely moving, and they go to the right, and I go back to the left, and they go back to the left, and then I go straight, and they go straight, and then I go back to the left. So it's not like they're wandering. They go to the left. I finally got around them and pulled up to the, backed into my spot, and I gathered up the dog, because the dog went with us on this trip. And I open up the car door, and all 3 of the ducks are standing there quacking, quacking, quacking. Scared the hell out of me. Decided to walk into the house. Popped out, opened the car door, ran into the house or up to the house and unlock it. And the ducks are coming after me. And I opened the door, and Cricket and I ran in real quick and shut the door. And then I just kind of sat there and watched them on the through the peephole, and then I got out and watched them on the cameras until they left, so I could go out and get my luggage out of the car. It's like, give us some money, give us some food, or otherwise we're gonna take care of your ass. Oh, I'm sorry, being two-timed. So Jason's commenting that he's doing Ride of Your Life and the show. Maybe I should have had Jason do be on the show or something, because I don't pay for Motor Trend. Even Will being on that. So I guess the ducks are I don't want to say they're the bitch of the week because I do like them. They're kind of cute. They're, like I said, very aggressive. They're out there every morning. I've never seen them that late at night, but I was just commenting I hadn't seen them in a few days. So, but we'll see here. We're going to jump into the quick little news briefs, but we're going to, between the news briefs, we're going to have a little sound. It's kind of like the old books on tape. You know, you're in school and that's the sound you're going to hear. Between each story, you're going to get. So that way, there's a clean break. Somebody says I have to work on my transitions. So we're going to use a button. I'm going to work on my transitions. Not even sure where to start. Nissan. Remember back in '86, the four-door sports car, the Maximas, they were black with a wing, and they were the replacement for your Porsche or your Lotus or your Ferrari or your Corvette, because the Nissan Maxima was your four-door sports car. And it even had 4D SC on the rear quarter windows and stuff, had it there for years. The Maxima was introduced 42 years ago. So it's be roughly, 1980? Sorry. In this world where we're going to SUVs and that, sedans are even dying, cars are dying, sports cars are dying. No more four-door sports cars. The Maxima is dead as of the 2023 model year. It's kind of a sad thing to see go. I mean, they haven't been the greatest cars for the last few years. I mean, they've been a Nissan, but it's that little nostalgia from my teenage years when the four-door sports car. And I even remember, it had to be one of my dad's friends, bought it and discussed it as being the four-door sports car, trying to make his family sedan sound cool. But I guess we have to say goodbye to the Nissan Maxima. It's 2023 is the final model year, so get your orders in, and you can't really say that it, I don't know, did it really compete against the M series cars and the Mercedes AMGs? I'm not too sure. But see, neat sound effect while we change. Yeah, Jason typed in there, Maxima four-door sports car, 4SC actually, it's 4DSC because it's four-door sports car, not four sports door car. But can't remember. What was I going to say? Oh, we played this sound clip, so I was jumping in to take advantage of your TV stardom while you can. So you'll probably see the Will Posey auction in a couple of years. But right now, reality star Richard Rawlings is going to dump his collection. And they're saying he's selling his car collection, blah, blah, blah. You get your chance, Gas Monkey Garage. And there's a lot of little bits and paraphernalia and things like that. But he's keeping all the good stuff for himself, and he's just selling off, some of the collection. But I'm not going to get too deep into it. We actually had an episode where we kind of discussed Richard. Oh, geez, that had to be in the first year of the show. So 5 years ago. And, even though he's an ass on TV, we think he kind of, I have a feeling he's a pretty nice guy. Probably should reach out to him now that we're a little bit more powerful podcast and see if we can get him on the show. Plus now he's going to be hawking his auction. So he'll love to come on and tell us about the stuff that he's selling. Ooh. Got a quick little article. We really got to get into the episode of Snow Lake Lithium. This is the Snow Lake owned by Warren Buffett out in California, where we're going to get U.S. lithium production for obviously electric car batteries, and probably really help this tax credit thing that Biden signed into effect with the Inflation Recovery Act, or whatever it was called. I'm not into too much politics, so I don't know. but they're saying they think there's at least enough lithium in the lake to power 5 million electric vehicles, and it can be mined over the next 10 years, which is kind of interesting because we're here in 2022. California is saying by 2035 is basically against the rules to sell gasoline cars new. That's 12 years off. So I'm I don't understand the time frames in any of this stuff, but 5 million electric vehicles, lithium mined in the U.S. Now, is it going to go to China to become batteries? Is it going to go to Colorado to become batteries? Is it going to go to, I don't know where it's going to end up becoming batteries, but at least it's going to be mined here and then probably shipped all over the world 18 times before it comes back here as a battery in whatever car. That's a couple of the headlines going on. I don't know why I have this one up. Just a brief thing. Full self-driving, which Elon Musk is promising us by the end of the year, which is really not level 5, it's level 3, price has now been increased to $15,000. So if you want to give Elon $15,000 for a product that doesn't exist and hope his timeline's correct, I guess you can. You can order full self-driving for your Tesla. I'm sure we can, automotive subscriptions, over-the-air updates. I'm sure it can be added later on. I don't. It's 15,000 when you order your Tesla, or it's probably going to be 28 if you add it on later. Either way, it's a slight bump up from the $13,000 he's been charging. I'm not going to get into too much else here. I've got some news here on Fisker and the Highway Safety Institute has changed the way they do side impact crash testing. And guess what? Everything's failing it now. I don't know if they went to SUV type thing in that. But we probably should jump over to the main topic. I was really looking forward to probably debating this out a little bit with Derek or Will. Well, see here. What's up with the Apple's Project Titan? I have not seen any news on that. The Apple Project Titan. I will, we're not an EV show, even though we talk about EVs a lot. I'll check into that. It would only make sense that Nissan's going to jump onto the bandwagon of electric trucks. I mean, the Ford Lightning's making an impact, even though, what do I want to say? Lightning prices now have been increased, as have. When I talk about a sucky timing, that was Rivian. Rivian came out, raised the prices of all their trucks because supplies, supply chain, et cetera, demand, availability, cost of goods had all went up. And they just got trashed for, you're raising the prices of your cars. Well, what happened to your promises? Now, of course, Rivian's misstep is they went to the people that had already ordered cars and said, hey, your cars are becoming more expensive. Now the misstep they've done is everybody that ordered base models is kind of SOL because they're not going to produce any base model trucks. But everybody else is doing the same thing now. Rivian was just first. Rivian got, nailed for it, but Teslas have went up in price. The Lightnings went up in price. If it's electric, it's gone up in price. Except most of these companies are only like, if you've got an order in for a 2022 Lightning, your price is held firm. You order a 2023, you get the new price. So at least in advance. And I also understand that the price of the 2023 Mustang Mach-E is going up and, things like that. And then is it Ford and I can't remember the other manufacturer have now made their leases closed end. so that if you lease one of the vehicles, you have to give it back to the manufacturer at the end of the lease. There's no lease buyout. There's no continuing. There's no, it's probably because of the used car values that are out there right now. They're kind of protecting themselves. But what I was throwing out for the idea tonight for the topic, and it's an article I got off through Motor Junkie and kind of read through it, and it's just a little bit interesting to me. And it's 30 items. They list 30 items that we might not see in 2030 on our cars.
Interesting.
And
I'd love to hear about it.
there's, what do I want to say? Some of them are believable. Some of them I don't know, and I think some of them have actually went away in this work, already. Number 30 is antennas. I can't tell you the last time I saw an antenna on a car. My Transit Connect didn't have one. And you'd think that, as base as it was, everybody's got the little wings on the top of their cars. Mini's got one. It's got a little wing with a little, I think, antenna on top of it. So maybe that's classified. But, we got these little airfoils. And I think eventually everything will be integrated into the roof of the car. And, antennas definitely, you probably won't see them in 2025, even if you see them in 2023. They're definitely on their way out. I remember my grandfather's Grand Marquis station wagon is a 77 or a 78, power antenna, all that fun stuff. But it had this silver plate on the right front fender that covered the antenna hole, because the dealership had moved the antenna from the right fender to the left fender. That way, if you were listening to an AM radio when you drove by, and believe it or not, there used to be power lines up and down the side of a lot of highways and such, and they would interfere with your AM radio reception. And by moving it over to the driver's side, supposedly that helped reduce that interference. Whether or not it worked or not, I don't know. That Grand Marquis wagon that was for sale in Fort Payne. I was just in Fort Payne today, and the wagon wasn't on the lot. So I guess the dealership has dumped it or sold it to somebody, some lucky individual. It still had an antenna on the right side. So I don't know what the dealership's thinking was. It seems like an odd thing for the dealer to do. We go on and we talk about sedans. They're saying sedans will be dead by, what did I say, 2030. Can you really see sedans going away? That's, yeah, four-door sedans. 29 station wagons. Yeah, station wagons, they're kind of on the way out. About Subaru's about the only one left. BMW every now and then throws in a station wagon. Mercedes has a station wagon. But four-door sedans, I would have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have probably said, yeah, you're nuts. But Ford doesn't have any sedans. General Motors is phasing out sedans. All in favor of SUVs, CUVs, and pickup trucks. Kind of tired of it. Jason's asking, do I think wagons will make a comeback? No. Diehard enthusiasts love wagons. Nobody else does, and nobody listens to us anymore. And I don't know. I like wagons. They're a neat look and such, but they are more impractical than SUV. It's been said. We're on episode, what's my sign say, 227. It's probably been said 227 times that I'm a minivan fan. And a minivan is the most practical vehicle on the road. If you want practicality, you want something that'll do just about everything except quote tow, the minivan's the vehicle for you. And I would like to see minivans make a stand and come back and be a little bit more popular. But your neighbor's got an SUV. It's cool. Porsche's not building an SUV, or excuse me, building a minivan. They're building SUVs. So I think minivans will eventually fade away too. I mean, Chrysler's just about backed out. They just have the Pacifica. You have the Sienna. You have the Odyssey. And, I think Nissan and Kia still make one. I don't know. But I really do think the family station wagon is probably on the way out. I mean, we'd love to see a Magnum come back. We'd probably love to see what do I want to say? The Cadillac CTS-V wagon come back. But my guess is, I'm totally thinking that station wagons are gone. This article mentions CD players. I honestly thought CD players were gone from cars years ago. But then I got thinking, my 18 Transit Connect had a CD player in it. And I was saying to Brandy the other day that I saw a Metallica CD at Walmart, 3 CD set, really freaking kick-ass Metallica hit songs. If you wanted the best of Metallica, this was the set to buy. It was like $7. And she yells at me that I impulse buy too many things. So I elected to leave it. I probably would have got away with buying that. But then I go, I don't own a CD player. I mean, my desktop here does have a CD-ROM, and I got some USB CD-ROMs for my laptops. But then she said, my car's got a CD player in it. And then she's got a 19 Camry. And sure enough, it does have a CD player in it. I noticed it. We took it on the road trip this week. Very nice. Speaking of sedans and CD players and all that, very nice road trip car. I can understand why Camrys are so popular. Good appliance of all vehicles. Hers is the appropriate white color. But why don't they make performance editions for the guy that wants minivans and be cool? Because there's this thing called physics, and the laws of physics really are tough to apply to a minivan. I mean, Honda's done it. I've watched Honda Autocross, a 600 horsepower Honda Odyssey a few years back, and then they did a pilot, slammed them and all of this. And the minivan, full cage and things. But I don't think you can get, Dodge has done the RT version of their Caravans before. Heck, they even had a manual transmission Caravan for a while back in the mid 80s. But I would think that a performance tuned SRT version of the Pacifica and that they would sell a few, but I think it would be a huge liability because, like I said, you say you went ahead and threw a Hellcat into a Pacifica, and there's actually a guy doing that right now, aftermarket. Somebody's going to try to drive that thing like you would a Challenger, and then try to take a corner in a Pacifica the way you would a Challenger, and end up with the shiny side down. Boy, I wish I could say that. Shiny side down. And it just seems like a little bit of a just out of curiosity, Randy, what color was the Pacific at Will's Autocross? Was it black with custom wheels? Yeah, Jason, there are a couple SUVs out there that are performance editions. I mean, they did bring back the Hellcat Dakota Durango for a second go around because they figured out how to. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Randy. That was Yoder's. Yoder is fast in anything. Doesn't matter. You could, to be honest, I'm thinking here, you could probably give Yoder a 1988 Ford Fiesta and he could outrun half the things on the track. I say bad things about Yoder all the time, but when it really comes to driving, he is, like you said, he's fast. The only way he could be faster is if he lost a few pounds. And he knows that. So, as a matter of fact, I think he's told me that but, so let's jump down here. This one threw me off. I don't know if I quite understand this one. And maybe I'll just read it. Like I said, this is from Motor Junkie. Link will be in the show description if you want to read the list and everything they say. But car batteries. The car battery, as we know it, is going to disappear in the not-so-distant future. The car battery used to be responsible for giving your engine the juice to turn over. Now, with electric cars having an entire battery system, there will be no longer a need for that. Car batteries are an expensive thing to replace, so it'll be nice to have a dedicated system instead. It's already common knowledge on brand new vehicles that jumping another car will blow fuses. So automakers are going to be reducing the usage of the old-fashioned car battery little by little over the next decade. There just won't be a need for something like that in cars of the future. Let's see here. Okay, car batteries are expensive. Batteries for electric cars and a whole electric car system is damn expensive. Yeah, you might not need the traditional car battery to start in an electric car or a hybrid, but I question, as long as gas-powered cars are going to be here, and I think we're going to have gas-powered cars for, 2022? You're probably going to see those for the next 18 years. I mean, I'm thinking 2040, you'll probably still have one or two on the market. And who knows, when we go to hydrogen, you go to hydrogen cars, they're not going to be carrying these big, massive battery packs if we go to hydrogen. We haven't said electric is the end all, and electric could be the stopgap to the next thing we do, whether it be, we know Porsche's working on a synthetic fuel, and Volkswagen is Porsche. So who's the other one that's working on a synthetic fuel in a big way, with zero emissions. And then Toyota's pushing hydrogen. I've got a couple articles on Toyota semis right now that are running around with hydrogen. So I don't know if we're going to see the car batteries actually go away. And then the line that in this article really got me, it's already common knowledge on brand new vehicles that jumping another car will blow the fuses. There has not been a person that has asked me to jump their car ever, with the exception of Billy Mitchell, that did not know that was not aware that traditional jumper cables, car to car, can not only blow fuses, can eat up ECUs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I carry a little thing. It's a little jump box thing. We've got it linked on our web page. It's yellow. I want to say my box said Shell on it or something, but it's got wireless charging. You can sit your phone on top of it. It's got a jump box. It's got a couple of USB ports. That little thing works really well. I think it's $119 now. Fabulous little tool. You need to have something like that to jump cars with. And I was just looking at mine the other day. I'd actually forgot, and it had slid under my driver's seat, and hell, it's been there for months. It's still almost at a full charge. And, that's what I've always worried about is, you get one of these things, you throw it in your car, you forget about it. When you go to need it, it's dead too. I don't think I would hesitate to try to jump a car off with this thing still. And it hasn't been plugged in probably over a year. I mean, it's been bouncing around my car just about since the time I got my car. So you need to get one of those. Like I said, check out the web page, look up our stuff, and we've got a couple of those things linked there. Spoilers have been on their way out for years. I mean, when the Ferrari 360 came out, that was all underbody aerodynamics. Everything's underbody aerodynamics now. Unless you're an Audi TT, where they recalled all of remember the 98, 99s to put a spoiler on them because they get a little bit tail light. Porsche has, the retractable spoilers and things. So I think they do exist. I still think there'll be still some use for them, but they will get less and less noticeable. I mean, if you see the rear spoiler on a Panamera, it retracts nice and neat, but when it pops up at whatever 45 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, pops up, slides out, widens. I mean, it becomes a pretty aggressive piece. But we're not wanting the picnic table spoilers anymore. Or trying to think. Remember the old, I think in the 92 Camaro Z28s, they had that kind of picnic table type spoiler. Oh, so that's going away. They say something about custom exhaust tips are going away. Well, if you get rid of the gas motor, exhaust tips probably are going away. I can't tell you. I've never looked to see if Tesla even has like fake exhaust tips on their cars. And I know the new Ford Lightning doesn't because I reviewed a picture of it. So yeah, exhaust tips might go away, but then again, your cars are going to supposedly create artificial noises. Look at the new Dodge Charger. Not a Charger named Dodge, but a Dodge Charger, the actual car. It's got an integrated front spoiler that's all hidden. Unless you really, kind of looking for it. When you're up against the car, it's very obvious. But it, I could see that one having, exhaust tips, that are actually speakers or such. And I could maybe that's the new thing is you get kicker subwoofers for exhaust tips. Don't know. We can slide on down superchargers. Yeah, if everything goes electric, superchargers are going to go away. But superchargers, turbochargers, it each has its own advantage and disadvantage. Superchargers are a parasitic loss of horsepower where turbochargers aren't. I think that's why you see those slipping away. I mean, the Mini Coopers, when they originally came over in the S model, they were all supercharged. Now everything's turbocharged, but you can, turbos are extremely efficient now. There's no turbo lag. You can tuck them in anywhere. They do get hot, but I've seen turbos down into the, under the intake manifold and the V's of a motor. So, they fit to me a lot better than a supercharger. So I'm not too sure on that one. I don't think anybody would ever notice. They talk about diesel smoke chips. Haven't those already left? Aren't we done rolling coal? I mean, I thought that and I want to say stance, but whatever that is, squatted trucks. Both of those are two things I've never understood. Jason's not liking the Charger sound. He thinks it's kind of a joke, but don't know. I have not heard it in person, and I don't believe anything until I hear it in person. So, but so many cars have an artificial sound, especially in the interior anymore. I was talking to somebody yesterday, I think it was. I might have been at the cigar shop, and we were chatting about exhaust and that. And he and I both are in the same boat. Quiet. We like quiet cars. We don't like noisy, obnoxious cars. I always use the example when I had my V8 convertible pickup truck. Had a Corvette motor and my 90 Isuzu. It was as quiet as a Lincoln when it ran. I mean, you couldn't tell it was a V8. It was, you'd think it was the 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder Isuzu motor. And then that was part of the thing. It was kind of a sleeper truck. I always talk about being able to walk away from a Mustang 5-liter because this 5-liter pulled up next to me and his girlfriend's looking at the truck and all of that. And it's a black and purple lowered truck, quiet. And the only thing the 5-liter obviously has on me is it's going to go faster. Well, he also lost that race off the line too. So I felt really good. Never saw him again. So, but I guess, when you're 18, 19, you think your car is going to find your girlfriend for you. Doesn't happen till you're 50. Traditional keys. Yeah, I'll probably say those are going to go away. What did I drive? The rental car I had a few months ago actually used traditional keys still. Metal key, you stuck in and turned. But yeah, I mean, everything's going to start with an app or probably some code you type into the dashboard, things like that. Proximity things. You have your phone on you. It's going to detect you. It's going to have the Bluetooth thing. You push your start button and it starts. Even if it goes that far, it could just actually, when it detects you in the driver's seat, say you push on the brake, it might start the car for you. Don't know. That all could be safety things. Talk about side view mirrors going away. That isn't going to happen until the government says it's going to happen. And a lot of car companies are showing cars without side view mirrors and cameras and such. Now, Elon might produce Teslas without mirrors just because he seems to do whatever he wants. Regulations be damned. Famously, he uses a black button on a seatbelt. So it's all matches, where just about every other manufacturer, the seatbelt, the button on it's orange, so it stands out, can be easily found in a time of emergency. But then again, a Tesla, when it's full self-driving, it should never get into an accident. Shut under his breath. So yeah, I don't see side mirrors going away until the government gets on board with that. And we know how quick the government is. They just changed the headlight rules 20 years after they should have. So 2030 is probably pushing it, but eventually side view mirrors will go away. Front grills, by 2030, maybe they will have gone away, but Lexus seems to be going against that. Have you seen the new Lexus? RX 500 or 600, their big SUV, the Toyota Highlander or Land Cruiser SUV, but with a Lexus badge. That's got a grill that an old steam train would, it's like a cow catcher on this thing. I'm not a big fan of the full grills, Audi started them. Lexus has went crazy with them. Toyota's all about them. Whether or not that means in 8 years those will all float away, don't know, or slide away, but we'll see. I mean, Tesla's removed the grills from their cars now. I mean, the Model S used to have a fake grill, and now that, that's gone. I mean, the new Ford Lightning still has a appearance of a grill. That's another one. Say what you wish. I don't think it's going away. Audible turn signals. I don't understand this. I've never driven I've driven some nice cars in that, but they talk about that since most modern cars are using blind spot monitoring and such, that the car will activate the turn signal for the driver ahead of time. They never explained to me how the car is going to know I'm doing a lane change. I mean, I wander in my lane a little bit. Is it going to flip on the turn signal every time the lane departure warning, activates? Maybe it will. That's warning people that I might be coming over, but half the time I pull back, and that's just going to confuse anybody. It's like calling Wolf. I'm going to make a lane change. I'm going to make a lane change. And then when I'm actually going to make one, they're not going to believe me because I don't track well in some cars on the road. But I would love for a car to be smart enough to activate its turn signals and, warn me of an impending lane change or something. And of course, self-driving cars, they should be able to handle that themselves when they're in full self-driving mode. But when it's still being controlled by a person, which maybe by 2030, it's not mentioned on the list, maybe by 2030, steering wheels will be going away. Don't know. They might not be completely gone, but they might be going away. Let's see here. AM, FM radios. Could not tell you the last time I actually listened to AM or FM. Yeah, I could. Probably about 2012, 2013. I used to listen to one of the local talk stations. Or I might be in somebody else's car for a short period of time, and at that I might listen to the radio then. But I think AM radio is pretty dead. I think it's Ford that's dropping AM radios. You're only going to get an FM radio now, which really sucks if you're an AM station. What's WKRP and WPIG in Cincinnati going to do? They're both AM. But it's big change. Terrestrial radio's on its way out. Heck, I kind of under my breath kind of hope that XM Sirius will disappear from your car by then too. I'm not a big fan of XM or Sirius. And just that's probably too political to get into. But I disagree with how the companies were formed and how they played the FCC or paid the FCC. Oh, quiet. But, everything's going to be streaming. Have it on your phone and, why put a tuner in the car? You'll connect your phone if you want to listen to your local FM station. You go to iHeartRadio or Cumulus or wherever it's being broadcast and listen to it there. It's just, they go on to say headlight switches. Headlight switches could be going away in the next couple of years. Well, maybe not. What I really wish they would get is wipers on, lights on. If your wipers come on for more than 3 strokes, I think your headlights should turn on. Headlights also mean taillights. Daytime running lamps, DRLs, those on in the rain don't count because when I'm coming up behind you, I still can't see you. You need your lights in the back just as much as you need the lights in the front. But headlights pretty much, I don't know if the switch might go away, but I'll bet you it'll be somewhere in a menu in your damn touchscreen on your phone, or excuse me, on your dashboard. Where are we going to? No, then they go on to adjustment knobs, and that's exactly what I was just saying. Is knobs are going away, buttons are going away in favor of your damn TFT touchscreens and dashboards. I love knobs. I love the tactile feel of a knob. I hate my iPhone. I loved my Treo. I never used a BlackBerry. I like the buttons. I could type without looking at the phone when I had my Treo. Thumb type, boom, 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 boom. Not even look at it, send a message, and everything would be spelled correctly. The best I can spell. Spelled the way I typed it in, not misspelled because my fat finger hit, the D instead of the S or something, because there's no button to be sure I'm landing on the D, So I'm not a big fan of the buttons and knobs and such going away, but they will. 2030 might be pushing it. You're only 7 model years out on that. I'm not sure where the designers are. Hopefully we get a couple of designers on here. I really like to get the guy from Lucid, and Derek's working on a couple of them for GM, just to see where they think some of this stuff's going. And, will we still have some real buttons or switches in a car? They say cigarette lighters. I don't know if cigarette lighters are in cars in 2020. You get a smoker's package where they do give you a cigarette lighter that pops in. You get some sort of ashtray that takes away a cup holder. It's really, that's stink. I mean, the ashtrays were nice. They gave you a little spot to put change or gum wrappers or something. And now, we really lost that. And sometimes it kind of bothers me. I had a smoker's package in my 06 Dodge Ram, and I still got the little cup ashtray thing. I bought the truck off the lot. It came with the smoker's package. Not that, I don't even smoke in my car cigarettes or cigars anymore. And then, of course, some high-end luxury vehicles, I'm sure Rolls-Royce is always going to come with a cigar lighter. My box probably come with cigar lighters for backseat passengers, but this cigarette lighter is definitely going away. They suggest here that the 12-volt accessory port's going away, which used to be where your cigarette lighter went, but they're saying the whole port's going to go away because there's no need for it. As your phones will be charging wirelessly, all cars will have wireless charging, things like that. There's a lot of things. You get your little refrigerator, you're going to need some sort of port to plug things into. The new Lightning, we'll use that as an example, does have traditional 110 looking outlets and converts, has its own inverter so that, you go from the whatever the battery is. I don't know if that's a 48 volt, 96 volt system or whatever the Lightning is to, 110 volt current. But they're saying the 12 volt accessory port's going away. I'm not sure it really will. Key fobs, that kind of goes back to what we were saying about traditional keys. Yeah, I can really see those going away in favor of phone apps and such. I still think there will be a physical key for your vehicle somewhere, in case you break your phone. How the heck are you going to go get a new phone if your phone's broken and you need your phone to start your car or whatever? Now it's up to you to remember where that key is or how the car operates. But Yeah, I can see the phone controlling a lot of it. It seems cumbersome, though. They talk about halogen headlights going away and fully believable. Got LEDs in the Mini and absolutely love them. Expensive as hell to replace. And, like I said, the Department of Transportation has now signed off on going to these multiple headlamps. Porsches are actually set up with them. Audis are actually set up with them, and they're soon to be activated, where they basically be as bright as they possibly can be. And then if it senses oncoming traffic, it's going to dim the appropriate bulbs so it doesn't affect the oncoming driver, but still allow you as much light as possible in that. So, yeah, LEDs are coming here. I pray that by 2030, there is no halogen bulbs. I would really like no halogen bulbs on the road, period. Everybody retrofits and puts stupid aftermarket LEDs in their car, but just DOT approved. Hydraulic power steering, yeah, that's pretty much eliminated already. Also, saves you on the leaks, etc. One that really bothers me, they say that the rear view mirror will be gone by 2030. Don't care. Always should be a rear view mirror, because they're saying your car is going to park itself. You still got to back out of the driveway. You still might need to back down the road. You'll have a backup camera in that, but I like mirrors. Go back to losing the side view mirrors. I like mirrors. While I use my backup camera, I use my mirrors too. To me, they work hand in hand. And yes, I'm aware that backup camera is fabulous. I mean, they're spot on usually. The guidance features some of them have, but I think you need a rear view mirror. I mean, even going down the interstate, if you're not a full self-driving, et cetera, you've got to glance in your mirror every now and then to get a feel of traffic behind you, to be aware of your situation. If it's a camera, you're not going to have the rear view camera on broadcasting the entire trip. They just don't do that. So I hope the rear view mirror doesn't go away. They talk about rear view, the little switch that they have, a little lever that for, blinding you with brights behind you and that going away. Yeah, I don't understand why all rear view mirrors aren't that self-dimming automatic thing by now. And cars are expensive enough. Let's take care of that. They talk about manual seat levers going away. I don't believe that either. And get it into the back seat of a two-door coupe, which probably will also be gone by 2030. Pop that handle forward, the seat moves. When you got to do it power, you sit there and wait for 25 seconds for the seat to move forward, and then the seat to another 25 seconds for it to move backwards, etc. I think we'll still have some sort of manual levers on some seats. Where are we getting to here now? Spare tires. This one pissed me off, the way they worded it here. Let's see here. The donut, as drivers like to call it, spare tire. You don't want to be the one stuck on the side of the highway changing a spare tire. Automakers are working on ways to eliminate the spare tire. My car has run flat tires. Love them. I mean, I've had some flat issues for some reason. I've had to replace two tires on this car because I've run over something, and run flats aren't repairable. I have Hanook H426 with 3 letters after it. I don't know. $170 a tire, I believe now. $180 a tire. I don't know. I just ordered 2 for the Mini, and they'll get put on hopefully this weekend. Little over $400, for 16-inch tires. Run flats are expensive, but I don't think they're the end all, because there are issues where you can get a run flat can destroy itself and then you're stuck. But prior to that, I mean, my 2012 Hyundai Veloster didn't come with a spare. And at the time, it was a brand new car to the market with a kind of a custom tire for the car. Nobody stocked a tire because I ended up with one of those big bubbles in the side of the tire. And actually, that showed up around 4,000 miles. They claimed it was me. I claimed it was a tire defect. And because the dealer couldn't get me a tire for 2 weeks. And what was I supposed to do? Rent a car for 2 weeks was their answer. You can leave the car here and we can set you up in a rental. I ended up driving with that bubble on the sidewall till 17,000 miles or something, which if it would have went out in a controlled situation, now I'm there with a flat with, no spare. I was on a car club drive a few months back, and there was a road issue, and it created 5 or 6 flat tires. If it was one flat, it might add maybe the driver, but 5 or 6 flats. And most of the people were on their run flats, and it got them to the tire shop 15 miles away. But run flats are great. Like I said, I've had this tire issues, and I, fill up the tire with my little portable air pump and go drive and, get to that place and then fill it up again to go to the next place, because I'm really not worried about low tire pressure, because I know the car is going to sit on the sidewall. I know Car and Driver did a test when the run flats were fairly new, and they drove highway speeds in a Corvette. I think it was one of the front tires, like the left front. Highway speeds in a Corvette for 7,000 miles on that run flat, which I'll go ahead and say here. I mean, we all know the person who has 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles on their compact donut spare too, and has it on the front of their car. So the differential, the front of their front wheel drive, the drive axle. So you're getting, gear wear and everything else, but they just don't care. But yeah, run flats are on their way. They are getting better. They're much more comfortable tires than they were a few years back. Number 6, they say engine bays will be gone by 2030. Nope, wrong. We'll still have gasoline powered cars in 2030. Engine bays going away. That kind of gets back to where we were talking design, things like that. As cars become electric, or as cars go to alternative fuels that process the fuel differently or whatever, engine bays will change. I don't think they will entirely go away. Even in a full electric car, you need to have some sort of access panels, or, to get to, it won't be engine as we traditionally think. But hubcaps, duh. When's the last time we really saw hubcaps? Except when we're walking right down the Walmart clearance aisle. Because they're being, it's clearance. They actually go on in this article to say backup cameras will be gone by 2030. Can't believe that one either. Kind of neat, Unless the car is full self-driving and you take away all my mirrors, I'm going to need a backup camera. And they also throw this one back to the cars will be able to park themselves. So there won't be a need for a backup camera because the car will be parking itself. But what about when I'm backing out of my driveway and the kids are playing or the dog? How am I necessarily going to know it's there? Yeah, the backup alerts and whatever, but I don't put, as techie as I am, and in this studio I'm sitting in with the thousands of dollars of equipment and buttons and monitors and everything, I don't 100% trust tech, and I like a little bit of backup to that. They say sunroofs will be gone. Well, it just that's just depending on your terminology. You know, panoramic roofs are what's going to replace it, and have pretty much taken over from sunroofs. It all depends, you know, if you can put a glass top or glass panel in for a roof. Really, I don't like sunroofs. I don't care. You know, again, my Mini has one. I pop it up every now and then. I forgot my SHO even had one. I 100% forgot my F-150 even had one. Every now and then I go, oh, I do have a sunroof in here. Wasted $2,000 anytime. Fog lights should go away anyway because Americans don't know how to use them properly. You know, they talk about making them brighter and brighter and brighter. Well, fog lights aren't, the brighter fog lights get, they don't work because they reflect off the fog. Why didn't you just use your headlights or your brights in that case? Fog lights are supposed to be aimed in a slightly different way and dimmer, and yeah, so they probably need to go away also. Let's see here. Jason's commenting that automotive section of stores now are mostly fuzzy dice and seat covers, and a lot less oil filters and spark plugs. Yeah, very, very true. They also a lot of those windshield shades, you know, so keep the sun out of your car. You can see a lot of those. And their number one thing that's going to go away: headlight wipers. Headlight wipers are required by law in some European countries. So again, now you got to get the government involved to change that. Why are they telling me they're not going to be needed? It's really not telling you why. Headlight wipers are usually high-level luxury vehicles. You'll often wonder what these are. The original intended purpose was for driving through muddy conditions where the mud covers the headlights. To the average city dweller, these wipers are seldomly ever used, especially in drier climates such as California. Headlights get dusty, they get dirty, they get spray on them. Yeah, they get, that's why they're required. I don't know if headlight wipers will go away. I would almost bet you're going to see some sort of thing for some of the cameras that will help clean the cameras, because a muddy camera is not going to function very well. I mean, and Tesla, that's all it uses is cameras. It doesn't have LiDAR or anything. Musk doesn't believe in it. You know, all of a sudden you go through all this mud and all the cameras on your Tesla are covered. I don't think it can drive itself. I don't think it can operate. Now you can't see backwards or forwards or back, yeah, I think you're actually going to see slight modifications of headlight wipers. But like I said, that's just my quick breeze through these 30 things. I'll put the list up in the show notes, nodrivinggloves.com, in case you're going to, want to buy us a coffee, see back episodes, check out some of the products that we suggest. It's everything, Will and I and Derek have used, and I don't put anything up there that I haven't tried. Some of the listeners I know have bought things off of there. It's another way of helping to give to the podcast without really giving to the podcast. But that's your long-winded 1 hour and 10-minute show. Well, I guess we start at 5 after, so 65-minute show with me. like I said, nodrivinggloves.com. B, if you don't subscribe to the Facebook page, you might want to do that. Derek's talking about doing some live streaming from Old Car Festival. We might even try to mirror the Henry Ford stream to our page so that you can hear Derek announce. He announces at Old Car Festival and discusses the cars that are driving by and being presented. And he's actually going to be he's gone for a long time, I believe. Detroit Concours also. And hopefully we can get some live coverage from that. So the next 2 weekends, there could be a little bit of live stuff popping up. We had hoped to have Will call in sometime tonight, tell us how the show was going, because they were doing a watch party. It's a Pigeon Forge with this weekend for a hot rod show. I can't remember, but it was we didn't get him. Obviously, I didn't think so. He'd be way too busy. You know, he's a TV celebrity now. Forgot all of us. But like I said, join the Facebook page, follow the YouTube page, watch the web page. Hopefully Derek gets some things out there, working on an interview show for next week. So you don't have to listen to me babble for another 60 minutes all by myself. We'll see where we go. And I thank everybody for sitting here and listening to my little tirades about things that may go away because time waits for none. That will be it for tonight. Thank you, all you viewers and listeners. We'll talk to you later.